Hello, Stampers. Welcome. I am Pat Fairless from Fairless Stamp and Flair, and I'm glad you're here today. I have a really cute card that we're going to make. It will be on my fearlessstampandflair.com blog tomorrow, and it's an Easter card. So it's time we get going on those Easter cards if you do Easter cards. And the main thing I want to show you is how to weave the little basket. So let's just go ahead and flip my camera over and we will get started. This is the card that will be on my website tomorrow. And it's this little basket here that I really want to focus on showing you how to make. Not necessarily, I'm going to do a slight variation of this card. So I'm going to change up some of the DSP that I used just to have a little bit of variety. But for all intents and purposes, this is the card it's going to be. So I did do some prep. I am going to use this Easter Joy Designer Series paper, but I decided instead of doing a white basket, I wanted to use a pattern in there that kind of looks already like a wicker basket, or use your imagination and it would. So we're going to make our basket of this, and then I'm going to pick up the colors from this DSP for the strips. Okay. So I got all my bits and pieces here. I hope I have them all. It seems like there's a lot of them. Get that out of my way so I don't get something on it I don't want on it. My little bag of goodies here. We're going to make Easter, instead of a bunny and flowers, we're going to make chicks and eggs. And what I did for the eggs was I actually just cut them out of that DSP that I showed you. One of the dies does match many of the eggs in the DSP, so you can use that to cut them out. Let me just get this stuff a little bit better organized out of the way. There's also a die. So the Easter basket stamp set, I've used it here before. A couple weeks ago, I think it was, and this is the stamps. We're going to use the little chick and the eggs, but I did not stamp the eggs. Like I said, I cut them out of the DSP. I felt lazy. I didn't want to color all those little eggs. And they color them so pretty. So the dies is the main thing we're going to use today. And this little die here cuts all of these strips. And I cut one in, because I want multicolors, I cut them in different colors. So, but we're just going to use one of each. And I need to get this kind of cleaned up, right? Oh, I don't see any grass. We might have to cut grass. Oh, and here's my bows. So I better grab this, because I think I'm going to have to cut some of that, as I don't see any in my little bag. Of course, I would forget something. But what I really wanted to show is how to weave this basket. So I do have it die cut, and this is what it looks like. And you can see that the die makes these little slits in here. And so we just take those strips and weave them through. And it's nice that they've cut all these for us. If you want to use single color strips, you'd only have to cut once. It makes like 8 strips. So there's plenty. So if I grab one of each color and toss the rest aside here, we can start our basket. Now, the main thing is kind of decide what order you want your strips to be in, because you don't want to have to pull them out and put them back in. So I'm thinking I'm going to do, this is Balmy Blue, Lemon Lolly, Pretty in Pink, and Shy Shamrock, which I will always want to call Shamrock Shake. Now, what I have found is it works best to start at one end or the other. So I'm going to start on the bottom, and I'm just going to weave it back and forth through. The first one, if you can weave in the center of these, weave in the center, because you can see it's very easy now to push it through. As you run out of room, this up a little bit. I hope I can do this standing up. As you run out of room, it gets more difficult because those pieces aren't as flexible. So once you got it woven through there, just push it down as far as you can. Gently, you don't want to tear anything. Then the next color, I said I'm going to do pretty in pink. Now we're going to weave it the opposite. So I want to come from the back on this one and weave it through. And again, I'm going to kind of go towards the center of the area. And I used basic white on my card I showed you, the one that's on the blog. This paper, this designer paper, is a specialty paper, and it has some weight to it, and it's a little stiffer. So I am finding that this goes through a little harder than it did on the basic white. So there's just a hint for you. Now again, we can even these out later, but I'm pushing them down as far as I can. Reason being, I want to leave as much flexibility up here as I can, because as you add more, it gets harder. That I even learned with basic white. The last one is the most difficult, just because these little pieces are getting tighter as you weave them up and down. But I'm hoping that if I shove them down to the bottom as much as I can as I go along, I'll leave enough space to get these through. And then we can slide them back where we want them to get them even. Sometimes it helps to flip it over so you can push down and then push. It's also easier if you're sitting down and can hold this close to yourself. Okay, don't do this on camera. It's kind of hard, because I want to hold it right up here. Number one, so I can see it. And number two, just because I have a better grip. Okay, so let's see how this last one goes. Now I'm going to go the first one and the third one, I wove through the same. So now the back one, we're just going to do like we did the second one. I'm going to start on the back and push it through. And I'm thinking it's going to be easier if I do this from the back to get it in there. And this just becomes a bit of patience. And if you have to, go a little bit further and then pop it back behind. Then you can go to the back and grab it. You might even want a pair of tweezers. I'm going to check these. These tweezers are my Stampin' Up! Tweezers. You might even want a finer one. Once you get it through, then you can kind of grab it and pull it and then push the opposite way. It's getting pretty tight to want to push this way. It wants to bend, and once it bends, it's going to get harder to push, because now you've broken the fibers. So grab a tweezers and just kind of do like I'm trying to show you. I hope you can see it. Get it right about there where the little slit is, and then you can come to the other side and grab a hold. Okay. This is why I'm only doing 4. I was not able, you can try it. You might be better than me. Okay, I'm going to pull this a little bit more and tuck it back in there. And if I can grab it. I personally don't think you'd be able to get 5 in here. But I wouldn't say you can't. Some people have a better knack of this than I do. Now, I've barely got my little blue thing just poking out, and I'm trying to get a hold of it. I can no longer push. So let me try to do it from the back. I got to pick it up to myself and look closer a minute. Okay. All right. These last two, it's patience. That's what we need because get just a little teeny. There we go. This one I may pull a little past and then stick it through better. So I got a little more to grab here. Okay. I made it. All right, now you just pull it through. And now you can take these. You can see they're not very evenly spaced. You'd want them evenly spaced. I am going to put this up on the top, this little scallop die cut. So I probably want this blue one right about there. So I don't want to cover it up with the scallop. All that work, I don't want to cover that up. And then let's just push these up just very slightly, carefully. And we'll push the pink one up and just do our best to get them evenly spaced. Okay, I think that's close enough. Now, the next thing we want to do is adhere, because they're not going to come out. But you also don't want them flipping up or back on your card. So just take some little adhesive, and here's a hint: don't do too much. On my white one, I did too much. Sometimes it comes out fast. Wipe it off if it does. And I'm going to just do all the top ones first. If it gooshes out, your basket gets kind of sticky because it's hard to clean with all these little bumps. At least I had trouble getting the glue off. And you don't want to get glue on your little... See, that one's kind of a lot. So I'm going to just wipe it with my finger. Okay, so the top ones, take a minute, glue, let them dry. And now I'm going to do the 4 on that are hanging out from the back. And again, just try to minimize the amount of glue you get on there so it doesn't seep out to the top. I have a full bottle of adhesive here, so it tends to want to come out kind of fast. I don't know how much of this you can see. My hands are probably in the way. But there we go. Our basket is done. Now there's the crumb cake basket with the pattern on it compared to the white one. That's cute. I like that. Once in a while I have a good idea. I will say, I think the white one was a little easier to weave because these little strips are not as stiff on the basic white as this designer paper. This is not your typical weight designer paper. This is heavier. And I think it's because of the specialty finish that it has on it. It does make it stiffer. And stiffer by actually quite a bit. But we're just going to trim these off even with the edges. And there we go. Our basket is woven. And that was the main thing I wanted to show you. But let's just go ahead and I'm going to cut one of these. But I'm going to have to go get my die cutter. So I will be right back. I keep this on a table in the other room. I could have sworn I I cut a piece of grass, but I guess I didn't. So I used Shy Shamrock. So I'm also going to have to get a scrap of that. And get this, there we go. So let me grab the Shy Shamrock. It should be out here. And I have a scrap. Will my grass fit? Yes. All right. So standard sandwich here. We're going to do 2 layers of 3, 2, and 1. So we've got 1. Here's the 2. Layer 2. Here's our layer 3. And we will put this on here and run it through. And I always forget that I can't grab my handle when I put it on that side. And I should do it in the other direction. So let's see if I can not bump the camera again. I should have grabbed the mini die cut machine. This would have worked just fine. I'm probably going to trip over that down there because I just set it on the floor. But let me poke out this little piece of grass. And the length of the grass is perfect for the basket. It fits right in there. So that's aside. Okay, where did I do in my basket? Here it is. All right, so I'm going to put this on the front. And then I'm going to put the grass on the back of it. I'm going to bring this over here so I can see a little bit better so my camera's not right in my way, or my phone. And just line this up with the top edge of the basket. And then the grass, we'll just stick it on the back side. So I need a little bit of adhesive here on the front. Oops, of course. Put grass on there. Put glue on your paper. And I like to do it so that just the grass is peeking out from the top. You could put it up as far as you want. You could leave a little bit more of the bottom edge showing, but I just kind of wanted the grass to show. So now I'm going to fill this with eggs and a chick. So I have lots of eggs I cut out. It's a good way to use scraps. And a lot of them are the same color, but hopefully I have a variety here. I'm going to have to get some glue off my fingers. As you can see, they're all sticking to my fingers. Hand sanitizer does a good job of taking off glue. All right, get stuff out of my way. Do not need this little bunny. I think I'm going to use 2 chicks maybe. And let's see, what colors do I got? That one, I kind of like those. Got lots of these pink ones, pretty in pink. Here's a different one, that color. There's a yellow. Oh, we have a little crumb cake. What else do we have? I got so many over here. I do kind of like these Shamrock Shake ones, and maybe another blue one, different pattern. And probably want at least a couple of each color, I'm guessing. Okay. Let's start with that. So I think the best way here is we'll just start kind of one at a time. I sort of want them a little bit over the, maybe over the handle. So I only want a tiny little bit of glue down here at the bottom. This will be interesting how this goes, guys. There's not much down here. I'm going to stick it down a little bit further. There's not much that is getting adhered. What goes good next to that? How about green? Shamrock shake. Chai shamrock. See, I called it shamrock shake. And we'll stick that one down in there. I'm just going to work my way across, I guess. At some point, I want to put my little chick in here, though. I'm thinking he might go right there. I want to see most of them, so let me just put some adhesive down here on the bottom. Now I got gluey hands again. And let's put, yeah, maybe right about there. Okay, and we'll continue on. I think I pretty much covered up that whole that whole egg. So I'm going to move them over a little bit so I can see a little bit of that. And maybe just pull them up just a tad. You're definitely going to want to use liquid glue so that you can move these things around. Okay, how about we put this pink guy behind him? That'll work. So a little bit of fussiness to this card. It's kind of fun though. These are the kinds of cards I like to make. I like cards that have lots of detail. Oh, maybe I should put a yellow in here somewhere. I have plenty. So how about blue? And I got one of each color on the bottom. On the bottom. Now this one I do again want it a little bit over the handle. So I'm going to go in here and try to stick it between the grass and the handle, and then I can probably take this. Maybe I won't be able to get this one in front of the handle. If I lay it down a little bit more. I know you can't see this, sorry. There. I totally covered up my whole yellow egg. So let's just grab and pull them up a little bit. All right. Now, what do we need? We need another layer of eggs for sure. So this one's going to go there. And how about a bright green one down in here? Try to mix up the colors a little bit. I guess I can probably overthink it, which I'm really good at doing. Now I said I had this other chick, so where can I stick this chick? Can I get him a little bit higher up over here? Yeah, you know what? This one, it is still loose, but it actually does need to go over further, I think. Oh, took this one right out. Didn't have enough glue on that one. Okay. So I think, what color would I like? How about this little crumb cake one up behind there? I have plenty of eggs, so we're not going to run out. Not going to probably see this one too much because I'm going to stick the little chick in there. I'm going to show you what I did on the white one just to kind of make sure all of this sticks together. My hands are sticking to it so much. Okay, now, how about we stick a blue one over here. So I actually want this up here. A blue one there, and then let's put this pink one over here. That'll work. Okay. This is one you really can't think out too much. You just kind of got to go with the flow as you do it. I think it wants to keep my fingers. Because they are sticky. Very sticky again. I might have to actually, I'm going to let that dry for just a second here. I'm going to grab a baby wipe. Get as much glue off my fingers as I can. Because I kind of want to show you how I recommend now that this is together. It's not together real solid because you could probably see I was not putting a lot of glue on there. So what I found is if we just take a little bit of Scotch tape and run it across the back of these eggs, it's now much more sturdy. And I'm going to take one more piece and just kind of put it up here behind the tallest piece. I think that's pretty good. I don't think it needs any more eggs, do you? I'm okay with that. So I cut my grass and I put it, oh, grass is already on there. So all we have left to do now is basically put the card together. And I used this embossing folder. I used the same one on the white basket card. The name of this embossing folder is, what is it called? I don't know. I didn't write it down. And I don't have it over here. It's something patterns. I got one more place I can check, but let's just put this together and hopefully I'll remember to look before I sign off so I can give you that. The tutorial will be on for the white basket card. The tutorial will be on my blog post tomorrow. So we will make sure that the name of that embossing folder is on there. I think it's something like Perfect Patterns, but don't hold me to that. But if I bring it up close, you can see it's got like crosses with little flowers in the middle, dots and stripes. It's really pretty. I think it works really nice for Easter card. It'd be great for a baby card. When I first made that white basket, I was going to turn it into a baby card. Oh, I'm missing a piece. Oh, here we go. So I used the eggs, and we're just going to adhere the eggs up here. And when I put this on here, I try to center it top to bottom with about an equal gap over on the left edge. And then for the other piece, this is my Fairless Stampin' Flair sketch number 4, by the way. It's one of my go-to sketches. We could adhere this directly, but because it's a little higher, I like to put dimensionals on this piece just because. I don't like it when they're higher here than here when I do them directly. It's not nearly as noticeable if you put dimensionals than if you just glue it right down. So, but it's certainly a personal preference, whatever you like to do. So here now I'm going to make the gap on this side about the same as this one and raise it up just a bit. And then on the sketch, if you look at the sketch on the tutorial, the sketch actually does show, oh, where'd I put it? Here we go. The tutorial does show the sketch. This is a sketch I used. And the sketch has a circle, but you can put any shape there you want. So I'm just going to put this basket, and I'm going to also put the basket on with dimensionals. Now, because this is already on dimensionals, I'm going to put one layer at the bottom. One layer of dimensionals at the bottom. Anywhere it'll be over this, I'll just put one. And then up at the top, up here, to help support it, where it's hanging off this piece, I need to layer two of them up here to make up for the height that I already have. Otherwise, your basket's going to kind of be crooked. All right. Let's get this on here. We are getting close, guys. I knew it was going to take a little longer. It's a little fussy. And I'm just going to center it kind of over where those two cross. And now because I have two dimensionals up here and one down here, it sits nice and flat. So now we're going to add a bow. What color? I made shamrock. Oh, the shamrock pops a little bit more. So we're going to go with this bow here, and let's just use, I think I can just adhere that directly. I've already got two layers of dimensionals, so don't need to do another. And we'll just add this here. And my sentiment, Happy Easter. On the white card, I put it down here. I kind of like it up here. I'm going to put it up here. That way I can see more of my weaving. And I'll just put dimensionals in the center so it just lifts that up over the handle without pushing the handle down. So we'll keep the dimensionals near the center of this, so they fit in the middle of the handle. And make sure I get it straight. Okay. Now, we always need some little bit of bling. So I found these frosted iridescent dots, and I really liked the colors on them. I'm like, these spoke to me for spring and Easter. But I'm just going to use the clear ones because there's already a lot of color going on. So I'm going to use they are iridescent, so they do have a little bit of color they pick up. And there we go. The front of the card is done. Now, I already made the inside because I knew this was going to take a while. So I just used a strip of the designer paper. This stamp is from the Prayers and Promises. I've used that here before too. I just think it works really nice for Easter. And it says, I didn't leave that there. It says, peace I leave with you, My peace I give to you. And that's a great message in my mind for Easter, because that's what Easter brings us, right? Peace. Okay, there we go. And I use the eggs on the envelope. So my card is done. Let me flip back. We made it. Whew. I wasn't sure I was going to make it there for a bit. Let me go back over here. I was not sure I was going to get that thing woven. That DSP is a little stiffer. And so you might want to practice and start out on just basic white cardstock. Even regular cardstock is going to be heavier, of course, than basic white. So you might want to do a practice one on basic white. I learned that today. It's doable. You're just going to need some patience. So that's it. I hope you like that card. That little basket is just my favorite thing of that whole bundle. So I loved it. And I want to make sure I gave you some hints of how to do it. So I hope that was helpful. I will be back next week with something else. Until then, have a great week. I'd love it if you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell, and you'll know when I go. I almost was going to say live, but you guys know these aren't live. These are recorded. I am recording this on Sunday, March 8th. It is a beautiful sunny day. I can see open water in my lake, which makes me happy because it means spring is on the way. There's still plenty of ice out there, but by the shore, we've got some water. So, and the swans are loving it too. So have a great week, guys, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.